Hello folks, it's Friday the 3rd of October 2025. I haven't posted an October video because I've been on holiday. I've had lots of breaks in the last couple of years, but I've not really had a holiday where I've not had an agenda. And I'm fortunate enough to have a friend who's got a place in the middle of nowhere who's let me use it for this last week. So I've come up and done nothing for a week apart from what I wanted to do, and I've been relaxing, recharging, rebooting. I've been out on the North Yorkshire moors communing with standing stones. I've been having one or two interesting adventures with little local fungi. The only noises up here are the dogs barking from the farm and the occasional RAF Typhoon fighter breaking the sound barrier directly overhead. So if you hear a sudden roar, you know what that is. And I've not done any work for a week. It's been amazing. It's been really great. And then yesterday, I suddenly thought, oh, bugger. I didn't do my videos for the channel that I do videos for. I thought, oh, oops. So I had to get back into work mode. And that made me realise, oh, I didn't do an October video for the channel. People are going to be growling. So here's an abridged video for October 2025. This is from a remote little valley on the edge of the North Yorkshire moors, with streams, waterfalls, springs, where I've been getting down on my hands and knees and drinking water from the ground, where it's clean. It's been lovely. So October. Well, the full moon on the 6th or 7th of October, depending where you are in the world. I think it's at about 5 AM UK time on the 7th, but I'm not quite sure on that off the top of my head. But it's going to be at 13 degrees of Libra, and that's going to be pretty, not inconsequential, but it's not making any major aspects to anything else. And it's the first, or it's the second of a large number of full moons that are going to be consecutively at 13 degrees of their signs. Because at the moment, the gap between new and full moons is a regular 14.5 days, or 14 days and 16 hours, which is the archetypal new moon, full moon cycle. And it's going to stay like that till February, March. And then there's the new moon on October the 22nd, and that's going to be sort of late evening UK time, and that's going to be at 28, maybe 29 degrees of Libra, and that's going to be squaring Pluto a little bit, but it's nothing like the eclipse of a few days, a week or two ago. So I'm kind of okay with the moons at this time. But the movements of the planets, well, they're active, but October is generally a quieter month in terms of large-scale, long-term. And of course, there's ongoing things all around the world. You know, in the last couple of days, there's been a terrorist outrage in England where Jewish people got targeted by an ex-Syrian refugee, and some died, and then there's been lots of Muslim immigrants got sent to prison for a very long time for a lot of paedophilia and child abuse. Some of them were born in England. And then, just to bring balance, a lot of very corrupt, white, male, misogynist, racist police officers got outed in London. Everywhere. There's your normal ratio of bigotry, racism, religious warfare, even hatred. But I'm in a beautiful part of the country where there's a lot of love and a lot of nature, so things do balance out, at least for me, and I hope it is for all you people as well. So let's look at the outer planets. Pluto has been retrograde for 5.5 months now, and Pluto is going to stand still around the 6th, 7th, 8th of this month and start moving forward in Aquarius. So those of you born around the 20th through to the 24th of January and the 23rd to the 27th, 28th of July, Pluto's coming. But I'm really rethinking my ideas on Pluto in recent times. I'm seeing him less as the trauma and terror and more as the deep psychological rebooter. I'm beginning to like Pluto in Aquarius more than I did Pluto in Capricorn. And maybe that's a subject for another video or set of videos as well. So let me know what you want me to do videos on. So yeah, Pluto's going to stop going retrograde in a few days' time. I'll be delighted. And Neptune is still retrograde at 0 degrees of Aries, but this month, around the full moon, around the new moon on the 22nd, Neptune is going to retrograde back into Pisces. And it's only going to go back into 29 degrees of Pisces, where it's going to stay for the next 3 or 4 months before finally moving permanently back into Aries again in January, February of next year, and then staying there for 14 years. Uranus is sort of hovering still, standing still in early Gemini, and Uranus will go retrograde at the very start of next month. But Uranus, Pluto and Neptune are all part of this large-scale, very long-term aspect pattern, which is actually very beneficial for the rapid growth and development of individual psychology, individual personal growth and transformation, and hopefully individuals taking a lot more responsibility for themselves and changing their perceptive awareness so that they realise that there is no one else to blame for their situation but themselves. And it's easy for me to say that because I'm a white old man in a protected country. I'm not in Gaza or Ukraine or Russia or somewhere like that. So please don't jump on me for that. But really, for those of us in a situation who choose to find blame with other people, really, don't you think that's a bit outdated in this day and age? That's my opinion anyway. So that brings me to Saturn. Now, Saturn is moving backwards still, 25, 26 degrees of Pisces, still conjuncting Neptune, sextiling Pluto, sextiling Uranus, and that will continue until the new year, until well into the new year. But he's slowing down. He's going to be standing still next month and starting to move forward. Whereas Jupiter's doing exactly the opposite. Jupiter's in Cancer, and he is slowing down, but getting ready to start going retrograde. Now, I find it fascinating that shortly, not this month, but early next month, Saturn's going to stand still at 25 degrees 9 minutes of Pisces and start moving forward, fractionally close to when Jupiter will stand still at 25 degrees 9 minutes of Cancer and start moving backwards. So it's going to be this pretty much exact Jupiter-Saturn trine over the coming couple of months. Now, normally I would associate that with good economic news worldwide, but bearing in mind various shutdowns and legal situations in the world, I'm not sure that's going to happen. Nevertheless, for a number of people, this does suggest a much greater degree of steady, consistent balance when it comes to the financial and economic affairs of the world. This brings me to the inner planets, and here we see some really interesting mechanics. Venus is currently in late Virgo, heading towards the end of Virgo, And on the 13th, 14th of this month, it will move into Libra, where it will then stay for the rest of the month. And there's a particularly nice period around the 12th, 13th, 14th of this month, when Venus, yes, it'll be opposite Saturn, Neptune, but it'll also be trining Pluto and trining Uranus. And this is at the time of the in between the moons. So I'm kind of liking this period. It's a nice, gentle period for a lot of people. Mercury is just about to move into Scorpio. It moves into Scorpio on the 6th of this month. And then it will stay there for 3 weeks, leaving Scorpio for Sagittarius on the 28th, 29th of this month. And then next month it's going to go retrograde in Sagittarius. But we'll deal with that next month. Mars is the joker this month. Mars is in Scorpio all month. So on the one hand, that's going to bring a lot of Scorpios a great deal more oomph. But at the same time, Mars is making a set of aspects, particularly at the end of the month, which I can only see as being positive. Mars has finished its square to Pluto. It's not touching the outer planets this month. Now, there is a trigger point. Mercury will conjunct Mars at around 24 degrees of Scorpio, around the 23rd, 24th, 25th of this month, and that might be a flashpoint. Because Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio doesn't take prisoners. It's sharp and acerbic, but it's only for 48 hours. But at the end of this month, Mars will be trining Jupiter and trining Saturn within 24 hours of each other, and there's going to be a beautiful grand trine in the sky between Mars in Scorpio, Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Cancer. And that's going to last basically over the last week of this month. Now, the older I get, the more I'm welcoming the challenging aspects, because they bring actions, developments, events, they make you do things. The soft, gentle, easy aspects, yes, they're very nice, but they can make you lazy. But a grand trine between Jupiter, Saturn and Mars, ooh, that's rare. That's rare. You'll see that maybe once every, on average, once every 6 years. So this really is to be welcomed. So I suggest that for many people, particularly those born around the 16th, 17th of their signs, especially if you're a water sign or an earth sign, that the last month of October is a very good time to be starting something new, initiating, launching, beginning. But overall, with the outer planets starting to go retrograde, stopping going retrograde, changing sign, and with Jupiter and Saturn coming into balance with each other, this is not going to be as extreme a month as the last few months have been. It's still going to be intense. There's still going to be nut job and batshit crazy people out there doing crazy things for the world, and everyone will get morally outraged and talk about the decline of Western culture and the end of history and blame everyone else for it, but that's normal. And that's old thinking. I do have a really interesting announcement to make, but I'm going to hang on to it for a few more days, till Monday or Tuesday of next week. I've got a secret surprise gig coming up in early November, and we'll see. We'll see what can be done with this, but there might be some very interesting news for everyone on this. More on that early next week. But now I've got to leave this beautiful, idyllic place where water spurts out the ground, where the animals aren't scared of you, where there's very few humans, and those that are around go out their way to help each other, where the essence of community is strong. And I've got to head back out into the crazy world that we're all part of. So yeah, I'll be back over the weekend and early next week, and then I'll be catching up with everyone. Meantime, October, folks, don't lower your shields. Don't sit back and relax. But it's not going to be so intense, personally, as the last month or two. Catch you later, world. Bye now.